piece of shit. Get fucked. All my fellow godlies and Gears of War enthusiasts around the world. I am Vance, bringing you another episode of the Gears of War 5 God Build series, and today we are covering the Gunner, who has a few problems, mainly mobility and aiming, but aside from that, this is a really well stacked class. I mean, it is a heavy hitter, and it is one of the most fun to play. In fact, I think that this is probably the first class that I ever maxed out, and I've just been enjoying it. I feel like this is my main class. This is the one that I enjoy the most when it comes to gameplay. It just kind of sucks that it's not very mobile. Now, one of the problems with this class is if you are placed up on a ledge and you happen to go down, your heavy gun is going to drop forward. And if you are aiming over a ledge that doesn't have a walkable access point in front of it, then you can't get your gun back. It's just wasted. This is stupid. I believe that there should be a mechanic in which the gun automatically falls toward you every time you go down. Otherwise, you're just wasting power to the fabricator, buying new one after new one after new one, or hoping to get lucky grabbing a new one off of an enemy. As I said, mobility is also an issue with this class. If you get chased by a warden or a matriarch, it's pretty much game over. You don't have enough running speed. You would have to ditch your heavy gun in order to compete, and at that point it's just kind of a waste, because that's the whole point of this class. So I don't know how you would go about buffing or nerfing anything in order to fix that for this class, but I'm going to get into the description. So it stated that the Gunner is specializing in heavy weapons. It is equipped to lay down heavy fire and take hits like no other. And that is 100% accurate. You can take hits from incoming damage at 2 different points while you're making contact with your hits, and also when you deploy reflective shell. You become very tanky if you're putting shots downfield and landing them accurately, because you will heal yourself while you're hitting enemies. And then with reflective shell, as it says, while active, it deflects all ballistic damage back to the enemy. Not only are you going to be immune to incoming damage, but you're going to reflect it back to them. And I haven't captured too many useful instances of this in Escape in video footage, but I have shown it off in Horde, and it is extremely effective. It can really be pulled out in some clutch moments, especially in Escape. If you've got a crowd of enemies, you can just run in the middle of the room, gather all the aggro, and deplete everybody's health bars with your special, and it's ludicrous. The passive ability is heal 50% heavy weapon damage dealt. Like I said, you're putting shots downfield accurately, and you will heal yourself just by doing damage to others. So let's get into the mod setup for Escape first. Okay, so first off, you have Reflective Shredder. Hits reflected by reflective shell do 45% bleeding damage. This is not maxed out. This is at 4, it can go up to 6. There's a lot of these cards here because I've put time into other builds to showcase in this series. I haven't had time to max out all of my classes, admittedly, and Gunner is kind of one of the ones that is really hard to get all the cards for. So Reflective Shredder can be maxed out at 6, and I've only got it at 4. Same thing with Serrated Edge. Torque Bow deals 30% bleeding damage, I feel that this is a lot more effective in escape just because you're not going to have access to heavy guns as often as you need them. So you are going to want to find a torque bow if you can. Concussive explosives, 3-second stun to enemies hit with explosives within 15 meters. So this goes up to another rank as well, and you'll get the buff from that. I have footage of enemies that are stunned as a result of me hitting them with explosive salvo. Flash freeze cryo cannon freezes 200% faster. This is really helpful against wardens if you can find a cryo gun. I mean, it's really helpful against everything, but I mean especially helpful against wardens because those are going to be your biggest damage dealers to you, because you just can't escape them. And then heavy shell, reflective shell, reflects projectiles back for 5 seconds. That also maxes out at rank 6. So getting into the horde setup, we still have reflective shredder, but we also have Mulcher Mastery, which is 70% extra Mulcher damage. I use Mulcher. You could choose to use Tri-Shot, that's down to personal preference, but then you would want a Tri-Shot mod here instead. Heavy Charger, heavy hits reduce ultimate cooldown in multiples of 0.010 seconds. This is really good, actually. It gets, I mean, it makes it so you can actually spam your ultimate, so keep that in mind here. Heavy capacity, 100% heavy ammo capacity, and then we have heavy shell again. So this is a relatively straightforward class. Like I said, the biggest issue is the mobility and aiming up over a ledge. You want to be very, very careful of the ledge that you're aiming over. A lot of the times it's just not worth it to lose your gun. You know, if you have a jack on the field, then you don't have to worry as much about losing your gun because a jack can usually get to it. However, with the specific location I showed here in Canals, a jack cannot reach that. There's no hope of retrieving it, and you will therefore waste your money. So just be very wary of this. This is probably going to be something that I critique very, very heavily when we talk about the potential of Gears of War 6. As always, if you like this video and you learn something from it, it always helps if you comment, share, subscribe, and do everything I always encourage you to do, because you can't advance without Vance. And until next time, peace.